Yo, 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 what is poppin'? It's your boy JT, host of the G The Strip podcast and your favorite spiritual TikToker. Today we're talking about this little stone right here. It's called a Moldavite. And if you know anything about a Moldavite, it brings some crazy experiences. And man, have I had some crazy experiences. If you don't know what Moldavite is, I'm going to get to you and tell you in this video. And you're going to hear about all the different and wacky and wild and actually a little bit traumatic experiences that I had while wearing and sleeping with this stone in my room. Now, before we get into that though, make sure to subscribe because I'm going to do tons of more videos about this type of stuff and I guarantee you'll like it. So Moldavite, what is it and how did I get it? So Moldavite is a stone that comes from when a meteorite hits the earth and then it forms and makes these green glass. It's called a techite stone. In fact, it's one of the 12 stones that apparently help you with your inner being. And so I found and came across Moldavite when I was going through my TikTok page, and what do you know? I had about 10 videos in a row of people just saying Moldavite. It brings crazy experiences. It brings this happened to be on Moldavite. It was so traumatic. Be wary of Moldavite. I had so many videos telling me about Moldavite that I just knew I had to get it. And I love crystals as well. And so the idea of getting a Moldavite that I can wear and an expensive crystal I can wear really piqued my interest. And so I went online and I did some research on Moldavite and I started Googling some of these Moldavite stories. And let me tell you, this Moldavite is no joke, and my story is definitely close to all these extreme stories of Moldavite. Some people have gotten fired from their job wearing the stone. Some people have gotten in car accidents or had a serious injury. Some people have had to move across states. I'm telling you, this Moldavite is no joke. So how did I get Moldavite? Well, as soon as I saw those TikTok videos, I procrastinated for about a week and I was like, man, do I really want to invest in a $200 stone when I don't necessarily have the money? Yeah, I do. And what do you know? I ended up having the money. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So I went online and I Googled, hey, where to get natural Moldavite stones? And so I found a site, and apparently when I got to the site and I bought the stone already, it was out of stock. I don't know how you can out of stock a crystal, but it was out of stock. So they refunded me the money after a very, very long and complicated call with the customer service. And so I ended up buying another Moldavite crystal, one that's actually certified. And here's where it gets crazy. Okay, so I get this Moldavite. It's about a week later. I get the Moldavite in the mail. It comes to my door. As soon as I touch the box, guys, as soon as I touch the box, I just felt so, I can't even explain it. And I'm not a very energy sensitive person. It's not my strong suit. And I've never had a very energetic experience working with the crystal. So for me to even touch a box and all of a sudden to feel a rush of energy is really, really weird. I got really like lightheaded. I got really hot, like a couple hot flashes. Right now I'm getting tingles, just talking about it. And also I felt my heartbeat really fast. Okay. And it was just a little fast, but once I opened the package and I undid all the wrapping, my goodness, my heart beat so fast and so hard. I don't know what went over me. It's like I just got like this rush of a crystal. Ooh, and even as I'm speaking this, I get all of these little goosebumps. So anyways, so I get this crystal, and I didn't know you actually had to clear the crystal. So for the first day, I didn't even clear the crystal. And I didn't even know how to clear a crystal, didn't even know you have to, whatnot. First night, nothing really weird happened. I didn't clear the crystal energy, and I ended up clearing it the next day, or specifically the next night, unintentionally. I went and took a bath, and I was like, oh, well, been wearing my Moldavite all day, might as well wear my Moldavite in the bathtub. And so to clear your crystal, you're supposed to put water and salt in it. Now, I didn't put any salt in the water in my bathtub, but I did have hot water, and I did, soak this a little bit in it. And what happened, this crystal got way energized, okay? I mean, way energized. So if you guys want to know how to clear your crystals, literally just put it in some water, and then put some salt over it, and then you should be good. You should be good. Maybe let it sit for the night. I didn't even let mine sit for the night, and it was still clear. You just really want to remove the old energy and put in your new energy. That's it. I got out of the bathtub, and that night was where everything just went haywire. Everything went haywire, okay? The very first night, here's what happened. I woke up at 3 in the morning, okay, to my cat sitting right by me. Literally, it was probably like right here. If I was laying down, it'd be like right here by my head. All of a sudden, he was crying out in pain. I've never seen him cry out in pain. In his paw, he was sleeping, by the way, and he just randomly woke up. His paw was bent like this, okay, and he literally couldn't move. He literally rolled off of my bed, rolled into all the walls, and then as soon as he exited my room, or not my room, but really like my hallway, he started walking again. He started walking, and granted he walked with the limp, but he was still walking on all four legs when he couldn't before. It got to the point where I actually thought that his paw was broken, that he had like a broken paw overnight, and I was freaking out, guys. Like, if you know anything about me, my cat Mushroom is like my life to me, okay? I love him more than most of my family members, believe it or not. And so I was really, really scared, and I genuinely thought that he had a broken leg. And so all of a sudden, he gets past the hallway and he starts limping, and I mean limping, he's like really fast limping, and he's limping all the way into my mother's room. And as soon as he hits my mother's room, he just randomly starts walking normally. I mean, way normally, like perfectly normal. When he was walking with the limp before, and he was literally rolling as if he was having like some epilepsy seizure, all on the ground in the pitch black dark, okay? It was weird. And so he goes under the bed, and I had to wake my mother up because now he's under the bed, and I was like, Mom, my cat's leg got broken. She's like, what do you mean? I said, my cat's leg got broken. He was having like a little epilepsy seizure, banging on all the walls, and she kept telling me that. No, it's because he was running, and I said, you don't understand. I saw this cat, and this cat is injured. This cat was injured. So she goes under the bed, okay? She goes under the bed. This cat just, was chilling like nothing ever happened. And I said, okay, that's weird. And so he gets out of the bed. Nothing's wrong. I look like an idiot. I mean, he was walking perfectly fine, as if nothing is wrong. Maybe he got a little scared at the end, but he was just walking perfectly normally. And I know 100% that he was walking with a limp, and before that he had a broken paw. But as soon as he exited my room, specifically my hallway, he started walking in a limp. And then when he entered the complete opposite end of the house where a Moldavite wasn't, right, I was sleeping with my Moldavite, he was walking normal. That was experience number one. And then the second experience came when I woke up in the morning. I was late for work, guys. I couldn't fall asleep maybe for an hour after. No biggie, I don't get really good sleep as it is. He bothers me all night. But I woke up, 10 minutes passed when I was supposed to leave for work. But here's how I woke up. I had 3 alarms set, and my ringer was on, and my ringer was at max volume, but my alarms never went off. And I ended up waking up to a voice that's saying, don't you have to get to work? That was the voice that I woke up to, and I said, oh crap, in this dream. I don't know what happened, but I literally was like, oh crap, ooh, here comes the chills again. I said, oh crap, and I immediately hopped in my car and just got to work. I literally called work, and I said, hey, I'm going to be a little late, and they called it good. So the very first night of having Moldavite, after I cleared out the energy, my cat almost had a broken leg. I had almost a very traumatic experience with my cat, and that same day I ended up being late for work. Okay, so it gets crazy, but then here's where it gets even more crazy, guys. This is just day 1. Day 2 comes along. I get back from work. Everything was nice. I was just a little exhausted. I took a bath with it. This time I did not take my Moldavite in the bathtub because I was not ready for the energy the next day. But the next day, I ended up wearing it to work. Guys, everything at work went wrong that day. I mean, everything. And it's not as if I was doing my job any different. I work in the restaurant, so it's kind of repetitive all day. But everything at work was breaking. In fact, every day I wore my Moldavite, something has broken in the area that I work at. Right now, I'm putting in a lot of shifts as utility or the dishwasher or the prep cook. And this week, I had a lot of utility and dishwashing shifts. Every single day this week, the dish machine or something in the dish area would end up breaking down. In fact, we had to get about $1,000 worth of replacements for this dish area. And let me tell you, I'm pretty much the only one in this dish area. I work, 9 hours every single day, 6 days a week. So it's only me and another person. And let me tell you, when I say everything broke, I mean everything broke. We had sanitizer leak. We had the dish machine actually break. I had utensils being found. I had rusted dishes. I had so much weird stuff go wrong and break all throughout the week. And it's weird because I'm the only one in dish, and I'm very, very, very good at taking care of what I do. And so for me to have stuff broken all week is just weird. But the day I took my Moldavite off, a couple days later, nothing broke. But the next day when I put it on, the fresh $1,000 replacement broke. It broke after it was freshly installed 2 days before. Now, is that a coincidence? I think not. The third incident that would happen was that I actually got asked out on a date. And if you know anything about me, I'm not the most, I don't go on a lot of dates. I'm not good with girls, none of that stuff, okay? But I got asked out on a date by someone who I know has been liking me for a while, and I liked her in the beginning, she didn't like me back, and I knew she was kind of vibing with me, but I was just, really not paying attention with it. Bible says to guard the other girl's heart. And she asked me on a date in front of all my managers and like 4 other employees, and it was the weirdest thing. Everybody looked at me, gave me that weird look like, are you two a thing? And I kind of gave them that look back like, no, I'm not a thing. But she asked me on a date, and that stuff doesn't happen to me all the time. In fact, I don't think I've ever gotten asked out on a date before. And so this was the first time I got asked out on a date, and she went and got Starbucks and offered to pay for my Starbucks. And I said, no, I'm good. And she ended up talking about all the weird and bad stuff that's happened in your life and how she needs help. And I was in a perfect position to help her because I had successfully gone through some of the things that she was going through. So this Moldavite used me as a way to help her out. And now she has a kind of a crush on me, which I have to kind of get settled and tell her like, hey, I'm not into you in that same way. But it was really cool, the fact to get asked on a date when it doesn't really happen to me. And so that was event number 3. Event number 4 is I got a brand deal. I literally got a deal with a Christian clothing brand. If you know my TikTok or my Instagram, I post a lot of Christian or spiritual content on there. I've been getting a lot of hate recently, but haters don't matter. Haters gonna hate. But I got a brand deal from a clothing company. They reached out to me, said, hey, love your page, keep up the good work. And I said, love your page. I'd love to work with you sometime. I'm looking to do brand deals. They're like, oh, bet. I'll send you all these free clothing. Just make, a post or 2 about it. And I said, what? You're going to send me free clothing that looks fire? They're like Christian Supreme clothing. Like, it looks fire. And they offered to give me 10% off of any other future purchases. My followers 10% off their purchases. And they gave me free supplies. I didn't have to pay for shipping. And that happened all because of this Moldavite when I was wearing it. Literally insane. And then that very night when I got that brand deal, I was doing an episode for a podcast, and I saw a very famous rapper was in Arizona, and I said, all right, bet, let's link up. And remind you, me and this rapper had a little bit of beef before. We weren't exactly in talking terms, but I reached out to him. I said, hey, let's do a podcast episode. I'd love to, talk to you on the podcast before you get to your performance. And he said, oh, bet, say less. And it turns out that as he was going through the performance, he wasn't able to make it. And I said, all right, Moldavite, if you're really true, make this happen. And what happened? 10 minutes later, he said, just kidding, I'm able to work now. I'm able to do this podcast episode. And let me tell you, it was not the most ideal podcast episode, okay? We literally had to do it in my car because there was no way, no quiet place. So you hear all this background noise. In fact, if you wanted to check it out, it was last week's podcast episode. But we ended up getting the podcast done, and I ended up writing it down as one of my big goals to gain podcast listeners. I ended up writing my goals later that week of what I want to do for the rest of 2020 and set up my goals for myself so I can actually achieve them. And so what do you know? He has almost 10,000 followers on Instagram, and he's very, very popular in the hip-hop scene. And so the idea for me and him to get to connect on a moment's notice when he barely knows who I am, and I drove 40 minutes to see him, is really, really insane. On top of everything that's happened and the clothing deal and me getting asked on a date and my cat almost dying, me being late for work, guys, way too much coincidences for it to be just a coincidence. I'm telling you, this crystal has power, and you have to be careful. And the last thing that happened, I noticed I had a lot of success on my social media post. I had one post, I think it's right now, when I checked this morning, at 140,000 in less than 2 days, 140,000 views. I've almost reached 5,000 Instagram followers, which is my goal for the end of 2020 to get to 5K. And what do you know, as soon as I put on this Moldavite, I've gained about maybe 1,000 followers in the past 7 days. So for me to get all these followers, seems like a Moldavite, not a coincidence. And I didn't have just one piece of content go really well. I had tons of content do well. And I've had such a sudden burst of creativity, of drive. And I've just noticed that this crystal has been doing wonders in my life. And it really is pushing me towards my higher purpose, or at least what I feel like my path was. And I'm so glad I didn't have anything where I get kicked out of my job, I get fired, kicked out of my house, I have to move across the country. I'm so glad none of that stuff happened. But because it's reassuring that I've been doing my best to be on the path. And if you have Moldavite or thinking of getting it, I highly suggest you guys just to kind of roll with the punches, right? Roll and just go with it. Remember, it's not doing things to harm you, it's doing things to help you. So just allow it to help you and allow it to do some hard work in you, and you'll be fine. In fact, I actually have a 20% off coupon for this Moldavite, or not this one, but the same company I bought them on. So the first person to comment, I don't know, 20%, I'll send you guys the little discount code, and hopefully you guys can pick it up. And so you guys will be able to experience exactly what I experienced. But I would definitely tell you the stone was about $200 with shipping, and it was 100% worth it. And the company that I got it from actually had it certified, which is also really nice. Now, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be doing a whole lot more videos like this, and I'm really excited for them. So stay tuned. I love you guys. I would also love to hear if you guys have Moldavite, what has been your experiences? Are you going to get Moldavite? Like, let's have a Moldavite discussion in the comments, fam. Let's do it. I love you guys. It's your boy JT. Peace.